are more popular and more successful, and you're working harder now than I think I've ever seen you work. You work hard. You're in every movie.
Well, I'm such a whore, I can't say no.
At 99, Betty White's passing stunned the world. Now, her family unveils a long-hidden secret that could alter how we see her. Stay with us to discover what Betty White kept hidden all these years. For more than 7 decades, Betty White, a name evocative of talent and joy, has enthralled viewers. White, born in 1922, started her career in the early years of television and over several generations. She permanently changed the entertainment scene, from her breakthrough performances to her innovative successes. Her path started on radio and early television, but her performance on The Mary Tyler Moore Show really highlighted her ability, acting Sue unveils. White gave the picture of a special mix of charm and comedy. Her performance won praise from critics and prepared her for her next major part, Rose Newland, on The Golden Boys. Rose, or White, became a household name, as her endearing character and comic timing grew legendary. By concentrating on the life of elderly women with humor and wit, the program broke new ground and delighted millions. White's impact went beyond her performing parts, becoming one of the first women to create her 1950s TV show, The Betty White Show. She pioneered television. This success demonstrated her vision and adaptability, so proving her more than a mere actor. Thanks to White's pioneering work, next generations of women in television would have a path. Her career was about influence as much as accolades and recognition. White was bestowed with many Emmy Awards, a Grammy, and many other distinctions. Every accolade was evidence of her talent, commitment, and the love she got from colleagues and supporters both. Still, her public appeal was not only derived from her professional successes. Her advocacy of animal rights and several charities clearly showed her real compassion and love of charity. White showed that her heart was as large as her talent by using her position to change things. White's appeal transcended her roles on television. Her colorful flair and consistent humor were evident in her performances on game programs, chat shows, and even viral internet events. From her clever SNL pranks to her endearing interviews, Betty White's presence was a continual delight. Her capacity for connecting with individuals from all walks of life and age made her a beloved person across decades. But here's where it gets exciting. Despite her public persona, there are hidden aspects of Betty White's life that have remained a mystery. Stay tuned as we delve into the secret that could reshape everything we know about her. White's public life was open and applauded. Her personal life stayed mostly under wraps. Many of her fans questioned about the aspects of her life kept off the public view. How did the woman we knew and loved develop from her experiences? Under that brilliant grin, what secrets might have she kept buried? So, what's the big secret that Betty White's family has revealed? This revelation might change how you view her life and legacy. Keep watching to uncover the details that have been kept hidden for so long. As we look into this disclosure, we'll uncover insights that offer fresh insight of Betty White's life. This secret is not only a bit of rumors, but also a significant part of her biography, so adding depth to her legacy. Understanding this part of her life will help us to see her differently and highlight the complexity of the person behind the public persona. Though Betty White's legacy is one of happiness, talent, and influence, this revelation gives her story still another degree of relevance. As we proceed, we'll delve into the specifics of this secret, look at its impact, and think of how it molds our view of one of the most loved people on television. Betty White's life was full with achievements and experiences that touched many others. This extra material promises to expand her incredible story even more. You won't want to miss the whole story. This secret can reshape how we remember Betty White and her remarkable journey. Stay tuned for the next part, where we will reveal it all. The enigma of Betty White's private life. Public charisma and vivid personality were well-known traits of the adored television queen Betty White. Still, behind the scenes, she kept some elements of her life hidden under mystery. Betty White was a master of keeping her privacy, even though she spent decades in public. There were aspects of her personal life that she kept tightly under control even with her notoriety. The private life of Betty White was quite different from her public one. She hardly talked about specifics about her family, connections, or daily schedule. In a time when stars sometimes overshare, White distinguished herself with restraint. Her life became mystery from this meticulous division between her public and private selves. Betty White's ability to keep her private affairs out of the public was almost as remarkable as her acting success, notwithstanding the media's and fans' constant curiosity. What exactly was Betty White hiding? The answer is more startling than you might expect. Keep watching as we dive deeper into the secretive corners of her life. Those closest to White kept great protection of her private life, though hardly discussed in detail. Her relationships, including her long and devoted marriage to Alan Ludden, were well known. Though their relationship was kept secret, the couple was renowned for their close affinity and mutual respect. Respected game show presenter Ludden connected with White in a special and meaningful way. Although their marriage was the highlight of her life, specifics stayed elusive and added to the mystery of her intimate world. Regarding her family, Betty White was likewise renowned for her discretion. She was known for being quite protective of her loved ones, and this included her relatives, who sometimes stayed out of public view. White's strategy to keep her family away from the public is especially on her will to uphold her privacy. This choice accentuated the mysterious aspect of her personal life, which made supporters wonder behind her public presentation. But what lies behind the curtain of Betty White's private life? The truth is more shocking than you might think. Keep watching as we reveal the secrets she kept hidden for so long. Betty White's privacy preservation went beyond simply protecting her family. It also concerned managing her story. In a field where personal information is sometimes stolen or used, White's will to keep some parts of her life secret was evidence of her fortitude and self-control. She kept great control over her public image to make sure her personal life stayed different from her work one. Notwithstanding her attempts, stories and conjecture regarding Betty White's personal life persisted. The enigma of her universe captivated media as well as supporters. One could speculate about her participation in covert charitable endeavors or concealed medical problems. Her obsession with her personal life showed her capacity to enthrall people's imagination even in silence. So, what is the big secret that Betty White's family has recently unveiled? The truth is about to come to light and will change how you view her. Stay tuned as we uncover the surprising details. White continued to be a public face, although her personal life remained a secret. Her character gained complexity from this discrepancy between her public persona and personal reality, which increases her appeal to viewers and supporters. She deliberately chose to keep her personal life hidden in order to help her to keep control over her own narrative and shape her impression. Deeper exploration of the disclosures on Betty White's personal life will reveal the secret facts withheld from public view. This fresh material should help clarify the facets of her life that have long been veiled in mystery. Her extraordinary talent and discipline are demonstrated by her capacity to keep seclusion, even as she is a beloved public personager. Prepare to be surprised as we dive into the newly revealed secrets of Betty White's private life. The whole story is more captivating than you could imagine. Don't miss the next part, where we will reveal it all. The secret revealed. The family of Betty White recently revealed a very personal story that shocked viewers and changed our perspective of the cherished actress. Betty White was honored for her public image, unquenchable charm, and charitable activities for decades. Benevolent below the sparkling facade, though, was a side of her life she kept especially hidden. The secret that has lately come to light is Betty White's long-term struggle with severe, incapacitating illness she managed to keep under private knowledge. This problem seriously interfered with her quality of life, not only a minor medical concern. White persisted in working, performing and motivating millions of people with her brilliant energy and optimism despite suffering and obstacles. Her capacity to manage this illness while keeping such a dynamic public life says volumes about her will and strength. This exposed secret reshapes our view of Betty White's life. Let's dive into why this secret is so significant and how it changes our own understanding of her remarkable journey. The nature of this secret is unexpected and somewhat significant. According to Betty White's relatives, she had been coping with a rare autoimmune condition that caused great pain and needed continuous medical attention. Affecting the body's immunological system, this disorder frequently causes extreme tiredness, discomfort, and other perhaps crippling symptoms. White's choice to keep this part of her life secret was evidence of her will to preserve her public image and personal space. Sharing this secret was a sincere choice made by her family to tell the truth following her death rather than a theatrical expose. Revealing this aspect of her life would help to honor her tenacity and how gracefully and dignity she lived in spite of such adversity. Family members offered their thoughts on Betty White's fortitude and her ability to keep her good demeanor in spite of her health problems during a moving interview. The impact of this revelation is more profound than you might think. Stay tuned as we examine how this secret has changed our view of Betty White and her incredible journey. The public response to this disclosure has been uneven. The news startled and greatly moved Betty White's friends and supporters. Many praised White for hiding such a large portion of her life while yet being a lighthouse of laughter and delight for others. The disclosure has made people value her work and her capacity to motivate others even in the face of personal difficulties more highly. Furthermore, This revelation has spurred discussions on the demands public personalities have to keep a particular image. Betty White's narrative presents a polished front while highlighting the sometimes invisible challenges of celebrities. It also starts conversations about the value of both physical and mental health, as well as how chronic diseases affects one's public and personal life. But there's more to this story. The way Betty White's family has handled this revelation and the reaction from those closest to her offer deeper insights into her life. Keep watching as we uncover the full impact of this disclosure. Betty White's family wanted to highlight her life and legacy following the announcement. They underlined that White's choice to keep her condition secret was personal and unrelated to her will to share her life. To honor her legacy and acknowledge her strength, the family came clean about this fact. The public and media have shown Betty White's enormous support. Many of them have posted on social media. For her tenacity, she has won compliments from celebrities, co-workers, and fans. Her legacy is even more significant since this fresh perspective of her life increases public respect of her. Betty White's legacy has been strengthened by her secret coming out. It exposes her secret difficulties and her great strength in her life. Knowing this aspect of her past helps readers value her achievements and tenacity. The biography of Betty White reveals how public celebrities have to overcome personal obstacles in order to maintain a positive impression. Betty White's legacy has been strengthened by her secret coming out. It exposes her secret difficulties and her great strength in her life. Knowing this aspect of her past helps readers value her achievements and tenacity. The biography of Betty White reveals how public celebrities have to overcome personal obstacles in order to maintain a positive impression. The impact of The Secret on Betty White's life. From charm to brilliance to relentless optimism, Betty White's legacy has always been one of appeal. Her legendary existence gains another level of complexity with the recent disclosure about her secret battle with a chronic illness. This revelation profoundly affects our impression of her and alters her public image in ways most people would not have predicted. From her charm to brilliance to relentless optimism, Betty White's legacy has always been one of appeal. Her legendary existence gains another level of complexity with the recent disclosure about her secret battle with a chronic illness. This revelation profoundly affects our impression of her and alters her public image in ways most people would not have predicted. Both supporters and critics have become far more respectful and appreciative of Betty White's chronic illness once it became public. White was well known for her contagious humor and unwavering energy for decades. These seemed nearly superhuman qualities. Thinking that she battled a crippling illness and kept her profession and public image intact further strengthened public appreciation of her. Fans have replied with a mix of wonder and shock. Many are considering her public presentations and realize how much more she went through behind the scenes. Tributes on social media abound that now reflect a greater respect of her strength. Comments and posts underlined how White's ability to make millions happy while controlling her illness makes her achievements even more remarkable. Online empathy and appreciation reveal that her disclosure has elevated her profile as a cultural figure. But the impact goes beyond just fan reactions. Cultural commentators and critics are also weighing in. Find out how this new perspective is shaping discussions about her legacy.
You all for your love and support over the years. Thank you so much.
Reevaluating Betty White's contributions to entertainment with this fresh information, critics and cultural pundits are contend that her resilience is demonstrated by her capacity to keep a vivid public presence despite personal challenges. This insight calls for a reevaluation of her career, since it highlights her endurance as much as her brilliance. Now, White's narrative offers a model of how celebrities handle personal difficulty. Critics note that viewers will find great resonance in her struggle and achievement since they capture the human experience in a unique manner. The topic has turned to include talks about the demand celebrities have to keep a specific image while juggling personal problems. This new dimension to her story also raises questions about the nature of public personas. How much do we know about the people we admire? The disclosures also begged questions regarding public identities. Betty White's capacity to keep a polished public image while hiding her struggles emphasizes the hidden facts of celebrity life. This revelation begs issues regarding public expectations and how public officials manage image. Public personalities' physical and psychological effects are starting to show as Betty White strikes a balance between job and life. Her story is generating discussions about mental health and well-being in the entertainment business. This disclosure emphasizes the need of empathy, since it questions our perspective and behavior towards celebrities. But how does this revelation reshape the narrative around Betty White's legacy? The answers might surprise you. Keep watching as we explore the long-term effects of this disclosure. Betty White might find this material to be rather relevant. People see her story today with greater respect and understanding. Her personal problems complicate her legacy and transform her from a well-known actress to a symbol of fortitude and persistence. Her legacy now includes her personal and professional bravery. This change highlights the larger effects of her life narrative and motivates many people. Now regarded as a great actress and comedian, Betty White overcomes great challenges. In our recollections, Betty White is evolving. The disclosure of her chronic illness has changed both her life and her profession. From this fresh angle, her public character and inner struggles honor her legacy and give it more substance. Family reactions and public response. The disclosure of Betty White's secret struggle has caused a strong response from her as well as from the general public. This surprising revelation has spurred a flood of comments and emotions, as it emphasizes how profoundly White influenced the life of people around her as well as the millions of admirers. Now let's see how Betty White's family and fans react to this surprising news. Their responses might reveal even more about her impact. The Betty White family is proud yet also in mourning. In interviews, they have complimented her elegant management of her personal problems. Betty White's family claims that despite her personality, she was remarkably able to keep a good public image. They complimented her bravery in her inner struggle. Social media has seen her family express themselves. Posts of her relatives expressing thanks for her life and legacy. Her secret difficulties, they argued, revealed her inner strength but never characterized her public demeanor. The family's responses to Betty White's complicated existence reveal both adoration and sorrow as they analyze it. But how is the public reacting to this news? The way fans are responding might surprise you. Let's dive into the social media frenzy and public discourse. People responded quickly and significantly. Social media has been inundated with Betty White's comments, prayers, and thoughts. According to fans, this revelation increases their respect of her. Many are offering support and claiming to see Betty White differently today. The emotional reaction of the audience reveals Betty White's influence. Letters of sympathy and jubilation hail her tenacity and endurance. Her art and personal anecdotes on social media move her followers. News outlets have also captured public response, presenting Betty White's narrative as a symbol of fortitude. Both supporters and detractors note how the disclosure has strengthened their respect of her work in news shows and publications. Public perspective is shaped by media coverage of her endurance and legacy. Behind the scenes, how the secret was kept. Betty White was an iconic figure whose life seemed like an open book to her adoring fans. However, even the most public figures can have carefully guarded secrets. The revelation about Betty White's private life has left many wondering how such a significant secret could be hidden for so long. The answer lies in a carefully orchestrated effort by her close friends, family, and public relations team. So, how did Betty White's inner circle manage to keep this secret under wraps? Let's dive into the strategies and the people who made it possible. Betty White has been professional and focused from the start of her career. She understood she had to present a public image fit for fans, a woman who loved her life. Betty White was surrounded by reliable friends and relatives who respected her privacy ideals to hide her personal life. Close pals of Betty guarded the secret. After several decades of knowing her, they were devoted to her. Sensitivity was something they knew. Hence, they went to great distances to preserve Betty's anonymity. Through fast handling and control, this close-knit group guarded against leakage. It's fascinating to see how Betty's inner circle managed to guard her secret for so long. But what role did her public relations team play in this? The answer might surprise you. The staff of Betty White understood the value of public relations for celebrity reputation, particularly in later years of her career. Her PR team understood personal disclosures may damage her public reputation. Masters in narrative control, they made sure only their intended material got to the press. Her public presentations, interviews, and social media posts had to be precisely matched to their image. Strong media relations between the team and reporters were created. Mutual respect and trust helped these ties stop the press from violating Betty's right to privacy. To satisfy them and respect Betty's privacy, the media got special news and interviews. Maintaining her secret over years needed this careful balance. The involvement of her public relations team was vital. But what about her family? Let's see how Betty's loved ones played their part in keeping her secret safe. Keeping Betty White's secret also proved much aided by her family. They accepted her desires totally and knew she wanted seclusion. Family members took great care with what they posted to make sure nothing might be misinterpreted and cause unwelcome conjecture. This respect of privacy permeated family get-togethers, public events, even informal talks with friends and neighbors. Their awareness of the media and environment helped the White family's endeavors likewise. They were careful with what they said and did publicly, as they knew any mistake could cause a media frenzy. Being close to Betty meant they understood what was at risk and were resolved to preserve her legacy at whatever means. Still, it went beyond simple silence. Working together, the family, friends, and PR crew developed a story that would keep curious eyes away. They created tales and anecdotes that presented Betty's life in line with her public image. This was a sensitive process that called for honesty and avoidance of particular information that would expose too much. The secrecy was meticulously maintained, but how did they handle potential leaks? Here's how Betty's team and family ensured the secret stayed safe. There were a few near calls over the years where the secret nearly surfaced, but Betty's staff responded quickly to control the circumstances every time. Usually appealing to their sense of loyalty and respect for Betty, they would reach out to the people engaged. Sometimes they would provide special access or other incentives to deter the individual from sharing the material publicly. This approach worked as it depended on the goodwill Betty had developed over her years among her surroundings. Betty's staff also constantly sought out possible hazards. To make sure nothing was slipping underneath, they tracked media coverage, social media, and even the rumor mill, maintaining the secret buried as long as it was required constant vigilance. Betty White's enduring legacy. Betty White's name is connected with charm, wit, and an unparalleled capacity to relate to viewers of all generations. She rose to be a cherished person in the entertainment business over her remarkable career, becoming a television pioneer and cultural icon. It is abundantly evident when considering her legacy that Betty White's impact goes much beyond her on-screen persona. Her legacy takes on fresh dimensions with the recent disclosure of her personal life, which makes us rethink her whole contribution to entertainment and culture. Few people can say that Betty White's career stretched over 8 decades. From her early days on radio to her innovative work in television, Betty regularly pushed limits and made new ground for women in the business. By creating a sitcom called Life with Elizabeth in the 1950s, she was the first female producer and director to open doors for next generations. Her performance as Sue Ann Nevins on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and subsequently as Rose Newland on The Golden Girls confirmed her reputation as a comic master and demonstrated her amazing range as an actress. Betty's career was already remarkable, but how does this recent revelation change our understanding of her legacy? The answer might surprise you. The fresh information on Betty White's personal life gives her legacy still another level of complexity. She was considered for decades as the pinnacle of kindness and warmth, someone who could never do wrong. But with this fresh knowledge, Betty, a lady who, like all of us, had secrets and challenges, and it becomes a more complicated image. This humanizes her in a way that makes her even more relevant and admirable. Not lessens her legacy. It reminds us that even the most adored public personalities have personal life that is sometimes more complicated than it first seems. Betty's capacity to keep her privacy for so long reveals her brains and fortitude. She understood how to negotiate the demands of celebrity while keeping the elements of her life most important to her hidden from view. According to this latest information, Betty was a gifted actor and an expert in public image management. It is evidence of her knowledge and forethought, therefore strengthening our esteem of her. So, what does this mean for how we remember Betty White? Let's explore how this new perspective might shape her legacy in the future. Examining Betty White's legacy in front of this fresh data is crucial to take into account her influence on millions of admirers from far off as well as her personal contacts. Among other things, Betty was well known for her compassion, giving, and constant support of animal rights. These attributes won her over many people and will always be a fundamental component of her memory. The disclosure enhances our knowledge of Betty White, rather than overshadowing these good features of her legacy. She is today not only someone who broke through in her career, but also someone who gracefully and with dignity confronted personal difficulties. Her legacy is so the more potent, since this duality reflects the complexity of the human experience. One cannot exaggerate Betty White's impact on the entertainment business. She was a beloved person who made millions happy, a mentor to next generations of artists, and a trailblazer breaking boundaries for women, not only in the reruns of her beloved shows, but also in how she encouraged people to follow their passions and change the world, so feeling years of effect. Betty White's influence was vast, but how will this revelation shape her legacy in the future? The implications are profound. Looking ahead, this new material is probably going to pique fresh interest in Betty White's life and work. Documentaries, biographies, and retrospectives will explore this hitherto secret side of her life and provide fresh understanding of the lady behind the myth. Knowing that Betty White was more than just what first greeted the eye, fans will go back over her work with fresh respect. This insight also makes significant talks about privacy and the demands of celebrity possible. The narrative of Betty White reminds us that even the most well-known celebrities should have private aspects of their life. In the modern world, when the boundaries between public and private life are progressively hazy, this discussion is especially pertinent. The whole life of Betty White's life and career will define her legacy ultimately. She will be remembered for her contributions to entertainment as well as for her kind, humorous, and very moral way of living. This fresh discovery opens a new chapter in her life and deepens our knowledge of her, who she was, and the reasons she was so important to so many people. And as we go on, Betty White's legacy will inspire and shape the next generation. Her work, attitude, and example will continue to remind us of the need for kindness, resiliency, and staying true to oneself even in the face of great public criticism. Truly iconic, Betty White was and will always be. Her legacy is one of laughter, love, and an unquestionable conviction that people are good. This fresh knowledge just helps us to value the life she lived and the influence she had on the planet even more. Remembering Betty White honors not only the actress and performer, but also the amazing lady who motivated us all, even in her own battles. Let's ensure that her legacy of laughter and love continues to shine bright for years. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories celebrating the lives of remarkable individuals like Betty White.